Get ready to drop the puck, take a free throw, and step up to the plate. It's time for the Metro East Sports Podcast on lineupmedia.fm.
Okay, guest number 3 tonight is Jason Wells, head football coach at Belleville West. But before I get to Jason, I got to talk about Callaway Home Loans. Andy Callaway of Callaway Home Loans saves me money every single month, and he'll save my family thousands in the long run. How? He refinanced my existing mortgage, and he can do the exact same for you. Rates are incredibly low, and you want to take advantage of an easy, fast, and affordable way to refinance. They do conventional FHA and VA loans, and ask for the MESP special. If you refinance with Andy, he'll donate $100 to the Metro East High School or Junior High team or GA fund of your choice. He'll give $100 to the Maroons football program. Yes, sir. He'll give $100 to EHS tennis. Nah, he won't. He'll give $100 to Metro East Lutheran volleyball. You name it. I feel like I use Metro East Lutheran almost every single week. I don't know why. I got to come up with some new ones. Call Andy today at 618-830-3332. Save money and support your favorite team in the Metro East, no matter what team it is. Whether it's Metro East Lutheran, Father McGivney, Belleville East, Columbia. Give me another one, Coach. That's not Belleville West.
O'Fallon.
O'Fallon. You went there in the conference. Way to go. All right, welcome to the show. Head football coach at Belleville West, Jason Wells. How you doing tonight?
Fine. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for making the drive. What time to practice end tonight?
At about 6:15.
Despite the rain, were you outside? Were you outside in the rain for football practice?
No. We had a lower level game that got canceled due to the weather. So normally on Mondays, my guys will watch the film and we'll do some type of conditioning or lifting. Give them the scouting report and the game plan for the week so we can come out Tuesday ready to execute.
Gotcha. And according to this, you were a former head coach or you were a former coach at University City, and you've been an assistant coach at several schools in the Metro East before you took over at West this year. Where have been some of your stops along the way?
So I'm familiar with the Metro East area. My first job out of college, I was a lower level coach at East St. Louis High School. That was in 2004. Then from there, I left and went to Normandy High School in St. Louis. Left there, went to Trinity Catholic. Left there, went to Hazelwood East, then Hazelwood West, then Lutheran North, and then I was named the head coach of University City High School in 2017.
You have had quite a few stops along the way. Yeah. I think the fact that the coach who intrigues me the most of all the places that you coach, the one that I would like to ask you about is Coach Sunkett at East St. Louis.
Okay.
I think he's built obviously a fantastic program and a dynasty there. What did you learn from Coach Sunkett when you were a part of the Flyers football staff?
The work ethic, Monday through Saturday, just the grind, the paying attention to close detail, the physical conditioning, overall just how to lead a team. And, fresh out of college, you think you know everything because you played college football or you played high school football. When in actuality, when you start coaching, especially at a program of that stature, you know nothing. So it's just kind of just learning. I want to be a head coach coming out of college, so just learning how to best do it and kind of just watching him, how he interacted with his players, how he interacted with his staff, the work he takes home and the work he does behind the scenes that only his staff would know about was tremendous. And so if I want to get to that point, I had to do what he did or more.
Yeah, I agree. I sense that too. I think obviously the legacy that he's built for himself, and to me, he's really continued the work of Bob Shannon and others from East St. Louis to continuing to make it the city of champions. And you yourself went to Pattonville High School.
Yes.
And did you played football there, obviously. Anything else?
Wrestled and also did track for a couple years.
And as the head football coach at West, are you encouraging your guys to get involved in wrestling?
Absolutely. I was actually an assistant wrestling coach at University City along with the head football coach, so strongly encouraged because they correlate and go hand in hand, especially for you bigger guys. Teaches you leverage. It helps you shed those extra baby fat pounds, teaches you how to use your hands, teaches you discipline, teaches you toughness, because when you step on that mat, It's just you and your opponent in the ref, so you have no one else to blame if you get pinned but yourself.
Is it is that as common in St. Louis for guys to play football and wrestling as it is in the Metro East?
Yes.
Okay, it is
Yes.
as common. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, it seemed like more of a Metro East thing because I feel like almost all of our football guys wrestle over here.
Oh yeah. It's over there in St. Louis. You have guys that placed at the state tournament that is also all Metro, all district performers. Like I tell all the kids when college recruiters come to speak on my team, what other sport does he play?
They're asking you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you had a tough week 1 matchup, but this week you are looking forward to. You had a loss to Kirkwood, 55-14. What did you see in your team in week number 1?
I saw the willingness to compete. I know we did some bonehead things by turning the ball over. They could have hit the tank down 21-0, but to establish a 13-play drive, 70 plus yards to score right before the half, to get the ball back at second half and go 80 yards and 15 plays to bring it within 7 against a powerhouse like Kirkwood shows that our kids was hungry and they didn't want to quit. And we came up short, but the commitment to the program, the commitment to my vision, the commitment to our offense, it was there.
Sounds like you got a lot to be proud of, and that's the thing. These are kids, and you're not always going to win.
Right.
And I think how you respond to the losses, I think is one of the most important things. So, and you're getting ready to bounce back this week. You got another Missouri opponent in Fort Zumwalt West.
Yes.
Starting off with 2 Missouri schools, it's just the way the schedule works out, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, coaching on the Missouri side for so long, you want to play against those teams because those are the bigger schools in the area that always, have deep playoff runs. So you kind of want to measure yourself against those type of teams going into your conference or your Illinois season. And like I told my guys today during the meeting, don't reflect off what their record is or if they lost. Look at their scheme. They're very good. They got a quality middle linebacker that's in on every play. Their quarterback is so elusive, so fast, always looking for the big play. So we have to come prepared.
Absolutely. And then you've got, after Fort Zumwalt West, then you've got DeKalb away on the road, non-conference, and that's not going to be easy. And then you get into the Southwestern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Alton, Edwardsville, East St. Louis, O'Fallon, and East in order.
Uh-huh.
Looking forward to that?
Absolutely. It's like you, as a coach, you always want to be playing the big boy league, Class 7A, Class 8A, because those are some quality teams. And the fact that in Illinois you have to win at least 5 games to get into the playoffs in this tough league. So if you can make it to the playoffs out this league, then you expect to do damage come November.
What will you say to Darren Sunkett when you play St. Louis on October 2nd? Will you say anything to him?
Oh, of course.
Pre-game.
That's one of my mentors. Me and Coach Sunkett go back before this football stuff because people don't know Sunk was my middle school PE teacher when he taught in St. Louis. So I was in his first class when he moved to Missouri back
Riverview Gardens? Or was he in Pattonville before Riverview Gardens?
He was actually at Ladue. He was my PE teacher at Ladue Middle School.
Really?
In 94. Yeah, so he was in his first class. And so when I transferred schools in the middle of 8th grade, went to Pattonville, obviously he went to Riverview, and it was one of those, what's up, coach, remember me? Oh, yeah, you Jay Wells, what's up?
Yeah.
And it just always, had that connect. Like, you're going to remember your first class. And so fortunate enough for me, we had mutual friends, and he happened to need a coach, and he knew me, and I went for it, and he gave it to me. He gave me my shot.
Wow. So he gave you your first chance.
Absolutely.
In coaching. Oh, that is great. That's a fantastic
he
story.
always paid it forward, and because of that, I always do the same thing. Now, obviously, I had other mentors that helped me along the way.
Yeah.
But he gave me he opened the door.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about the Maroons this year. What can we expect to see when we see the Maroons line up on the gridiron in 2021?
A smash mouth, old school physical football team. Gonna line up and run downhill right at you. No spread, no type of 4 or 5 wide sets. Just old school, single wing, downhill, smash mouth football. Even looking at the stats from our week 1, 50 rushes for 290 plus yards. We would have had several more, but like I said, we had some self-inflicting wounds. So we're coming downhill. So all you guys, you 7-on-7 teams that like to play in space, we're going to see how physical you can be for these 48 minutes.
So you got a challenge for the teams that are like slinging it around, throwing it around. You're like, we're bringing it. We're bringing old school football back. Mm-hmm. Single wing, old school football, smash mouth, 7 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah.
How about on the defensive side? Same thing.
Defensive side, I cut my teeth running an odd front. I've been running a 3-3 for over a decade. But I know in this league, you better be multiple. You can't just rest on your laurels running a base defense. So depending on who we play, it will change. Try to just do the best matchups as possible to give our kids a chance to be successful.
Okay, I want to talk about some of those kids that are doing the work for you this year. But first, I want to talk about Keller Williams Marquee. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Metro East on the Illinois or the Missouri side, please give our partners at Keller Williams Marquee, Jeb and Ginger Blassingame, the chance to serve you. They have offices in Waterloo, O'Fallon, and Edwardsville with more than 130 agents. The Blassingames are a family-owned business that has helped over 5,000 families find just the right home. The Lipes are one of those families. Jeb and Ginger sold our house quickly because they're experts at staging and pricing, and they helped us find the perfect home, and they can do the same for you. No wonder they're ranked in the top 10 real estate teams in North America. Give Jeb and Ginger Blassingame a call at 618-578-9276 or check them out online at blassingamegroup.com. You will not be disappointed. You know, it occurs to me when I give out the phone number, I probably don't even need to say 618, do I? Because this is the Metro East Sports Podcast.
Yeah.
We are talking all about the 618. All right, Coach Wells. Let's talk about some of the Maroons this year that are standing out to you as leaders on your team.
First, it starts with the heart and soul of the team, Cash Mays, our 5'9", 240-pound fullback / quarterback. He's one of the first players I met when I was hired. I called him in the hallway because he was a wrestler. And ever since his wrestling season ended, he's just been a godsend. You got Jalen Hess.
Let's hang on. Let's talk about Cash Mays for a second, because that is one of the great names in local sports right now. My name is Cash Mays. Yeah. It's like, yes, it is. You know, that's like, if your name is Cash, you know your money.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, dollar bill.
Dollar bill. What year is this kid? What year is Cash?
Senior. He's a senior.
He's a senior. Awesome. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Jalen Hess. He's another one. He was a transfer from Mater Dei. And the moment he stepped on the field, the whole attitude and demeanor changed. So when you hear kids say he's nice, that's when you know they're paying attention. Like, yeah, I'm glad he's on our team.
What's his name again?
Jalen Hess. Whereas number 1, very selfless kid. Does anything for the team.
Is he going to play both sides of the ball?
He did last week. Ran the ball, played some good corner, made some good hustle plays for us. Just a true baller.
I love it, Coach. You're getting me fired up. All right, who else? How about up on the line? How about some of those big guys that are knocking heads on every play? Who are those guys that are standing out for you?
You start with senior Chris Johnson. You got our junior center, Marquise Buchanan. More seniors, you got Damian Hudak. You got Jason Mollett. Our big tight end, Cameron Thurston. Them guys are some horses. They're some horses. That's why we go to the wing tee, because they're big. I think average roughly maybe about 270 across. So we got some big boys that can open some holes for our little speedsters.
Will you always play this style, or will you adjust the style that your teams play depending on the kids that you got in your uniforms?
Absolutely. We went to a wing. When I first got hired, we was trying to do some spread concept things. And it just took that 1-7-on-7 tournament to realize, like, we can't square peg round hold it. We can't force it. We got ball carriers, guys that can make things happen with the ball in their hand. We got a big line. I've coached in several wing offensive, single wing, double tight, single wing, all that. So I kind of just went back to what I know, and we took it and ran with it. But if you get the 6'5" quarterback, that's going to be elite 11. Then obviously you'll make some things to around their skill set.
I got it. Yeah. And really, you haven't been there for 3 years to develop the kids that you want. This is your first year as a head coach. So that has to play in a factor too, because the cupboard is the cupboard, and you gotta cook with the food you got in there.
Absolutely.
You like that analogy?
Absolutely.
I think I borrowed that from Bill Parcells or somebody like that. Well, that's cool. What about the off season? What are you going to try to do with these kids in this off season?
Well, I'm actually going to try to push them to do other sports. You're in high school, only such a short period of time, might experience everything. And for those that are not basketball, that are not wrestling, then we will have our off-season weight room programs, speed, strength, and conditioning, because now I'm in the building. And so we was kind of behind the 8 ball because I didn't get started till June 14th. When you got to think about most schools started June 1st or June 2nd around that time. Yep. So now that you have that year under your belt, you can go full go for the off-season. And
I'd like to talk about what you do at Belleville West, because you are skilled in multicultural team leadership, football coaching leadership, strategic leadership, and student leadership. That's your specialty. You told me you have 2 master's degrees?
Yes, sir. I actually got my first master's from SIUE in kinesiology, and then I got my second master's from Lindenwood St. Charles in education administration.
You're a little closer there.
Okay.
And so what have you learned about strategic multicultural team leadership? What does that mean?
Well, what that means is you deal with a variety of people, and so you can't just talk to that group the same way. So basically, you got to find out ways to reach each individual in that group. And so, like for example, I primarily coach pretty much all urban schools, whether it was all African Americans or whether it was Middle Eastern. I had very few white kids, very few. And then obviously when I came here, it's multicultural. White, Middle Eastern, Black, Asian. So you just got to find ways to be culturally receptive, because what I say to them may not necessarily reflect, and you may not respond to it. So I just got to find different ways to just try to reach, because everybody's different.
Culturally receptive. You are the second head football coach, at least, that I've had in here in the last 6 months that has talked about, if you're going to be a head football coach, you have to be able to reach kids of a very diverse background in the Metro East. Usually you're going to have kids that are from a multitude of backgrounds and ethnicities, and it takes a special person to be able to reach every single one of them. How are you able to instill trust in your kids, in your football players? How do you get them to buy in to Jason Wells, the leader and the motivator of the Maroons?
I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of my philosophy came from FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And my mentor on the St. Louis side, Brett Stillman, kind of changed my whole mindset of coaching. Because we all know that most players coach the way they was coached, but we all know that the game is constantly evolving. So you can't coach the way you was coached back in the 90s, early 2000s types. And so I just find a variety of ways just to reach the kid, because it's always a saying, I don't want to be that kid's last coach if he has eligibility left. I don't want to be the reason that he loses his joy for the game of football. And so how could I reach this kid? Some kids respond by yelling. I'm not a yeller no more. I read a lot of Tony Dungy's works, and he got a lot of all his players without saying not one swear word. So if he can do that, obviously I can as well. Yeah. And then it's all about building relationships. Like, what do you like to do outside of football? Whether it be I like to look at cars, or I like, different sports, or what people don't know about me. And I had a conversation, probably about for an hour and a half, about pro wrestling with one of my freshmen, and he was just like, "You watch wrestling?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I had another conversation with another one of my players. He's a toy collector. I collect action figures as well. Do you? Yeah. So once you find that common thing that you both kind of can share, you can kind of build that relationship off of that.
That's cool. That's good stuff. And do you see yourself staying at Belleville West long term?
Oh yeah. Like, to be honest with you, when the job opened up, I was kind of in shock because I knew they just hired a coach a couple years ago, and I was kind of vested in with University City, and I love those young men, even though it's a smaller program, so you kind of get to know them on more of an intimate level. And so when the job opened up, it was like, really? And it wasn't like it was, I actually caught it on a job board, like the High School Football Coaches America, like, really? And so it was toward the end of the school year. I think it was before Memorial Day. I sent my stuff in while still playing in my summer for University City. And then when I got the call to interview, I only let a couple coaches know, like, hey, I'm kind of doing this. I'm just going to give you the heads up. And then, when I got the call, I was, extremely happy, but at the same time, extremely sad because it was like, you developed them kids, and we went through all that adverse situations, and we finally started turning the program around and got the numbers up. And then, opportunity came calling, and you got to go. And so some of them was hurt, but at the same time, they was like, go be great, coach. Go be great. Thank you. And so that's what really got me like, okay, let's go.
How has your reception been in Belleville?
Oh, it's been phenomenal. I mean, a phenomenal administration, Principal Rich Mertens, my athletic directors, Lee Meyer, Joe Muniz, Superintendent Brian Menzer, Dr. Menzer, I'm sorry, Assistant Principal Richard Bass. Like it's been nothing but love from the staff, from the administration. I just remember the first day of school, I was nervous, but then like so many kids was just walking up to me, just, you the football coach? Is it still too late? Like, and I'm just like, come on.
Yeah.
And so like it's been great. Like even though we didn't get the victory Friday night, I mean the reception was just so positive. They were just so proud of how the team fought, and it was still a good game. Well, it was still a competitive game for 2.5 quarters. And coming in with I don't really have pressure. Like the outside pressure, like I don't really deal with the white noise. I only focus on the pressure I put on myself. And so I was kind of down and out, but just to hear the reception from my colleagues and from parents about how they was, excited. They could see the difference in the kids from a year ago. That was big to me.
Feel like you're doing it right.
Got no choice but to. I don't know how to do it one way, and so I'm gonna do it the best way I can.
Yeah. I'm rooting for you, Coach. It sounds like you are building a program there, which is something that's more difficult but more rewarding than just winning for a season.
Absolutely.
Working with the kids, figuring out a way to reach them. So what do you do during the day? Are you meeting with individual kids? Are you meeting with teams? Are you meeting with administration? What are you doing?
Oh, I got 5 classes to teach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm actually a teacher in the building.
Okay, so what do you teach?
Physical education.
Okay. Good enough.
Yeah.
Perfect. Are you teaching strength and conditioning?
Athletic PE, absolutely.
Okay, so that you're doing exactly what Coach Campbell, Frank Campbell, is doing right here.
Okay.
It was what he's doing at Mascoutah. You're doing the exact same thing at West.
Mm-hmm.
So we should have had you guys comparing notes on what you're doing and what he's doing. He talked a lot about sleep and diet. Mm-hmm. And he has a background where he was at the University of Arizona for a while, and it's a lot different when you're talking about kids who have limited resources about what they should be eating. Mm-hmm. What are the challenges that you face at Belleville West when you're talking to kids about, eat this, don't eat that?
We have a saying, don't let the grease beast get you.
I like
it.
And
so what that means is, and it's something that I took from my high school coach, Don Greco, and it just resonated with. I'm not telling you can't eat fast food, but I will keep it limited to the weekends and try to eat sensible Sunday through Thursday. So especially like cut out all the soda. You want to start that hydration process early. You can't just start getting hydrated Thursday.
Right.
And so when I see him in the hallways, and it's funny when you see him in the hallways and they try to hide their hot bag of hot fries, or and I'm just like, hey, it's hot outside, and we still got to go practice outside. And so, and then, come game day, like I said, don't let the grease beast get you. And so that's why I try to give them pregame meals prior to the game, so they ain't got to eat the fast food. Because I always tell them the example: whatever. What's your favorite car? So you hear Lamborghini, you hear Bugatti, you hear Mercedes, and it's like, would you put the cheap gas in your car, or would you put the premium? I'm the premium. Well, your body is your car.
So what are you feeding them?
Just some turkey sandwiches or something like that. Nothing
Good.
too heavy, no grease.
No pizza.
Oh gosh, no pizza.
Good for you.
Yeah. Even very minimal condiments. Like they try to load up on the mayonnaise. I'm like, whoa, you can't have all that, right? Not right
Fruit,
now.
Bananas.
Absolutely. Orange slices, apple slices.
How about dark soda?
No soda. No soda at all. It's water and Gatorade, preferably mostly the water though.
I knew that. That's where that was coming in. We've had more heat than I can ever remember for a fall. Last week we could never practice outside.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It was awful.
It was brutal.
All right, Coach Jason Wells, Maroon football. I'm rooting for you this year, man.
Appreciate it.
Let me give you one of these.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. All right, as always, the guests make the show here. Big thanks to Jeremy Christensen, Frank Campbell, and Jason Wells, and for partners Callaway Home Loans, Cassens, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, Keller Williams Marquee, Jeb and Ginger Blasting Game, Integrity Spine and Joint Center, and Front Office Fiduciary Network. Our producers, Brian Kroc and Everett Hicks, and our intern, @ZoogieJ. Thanks for listening to the Metro East Sports Podcast, talking all things sports in the Metro East.